I want to hurt him.
Yeah.
That's my mentality right now going into this fight, because I really want to do damage.
He's definitely gonna get punched on. I feel like, you know, he's a lot of heart. He's a lot of heart, and I think that's why he switched back. He had the Cuban coach, and I feel like that wasn't gonna work out well for him, because I mean, he can't learn that type of style that, you know, the Cuban coach is teaching. That's more cultural, more, you know, rhythm and things like that, and things that I feel like he don't have. You know, he's a more of a, you know, kung fu fighter, you know, hard, you know. And, you know, I feel like he's pretty good. He's good. You know, he beat Terrell Goucher. You know, he beat Tony Harrison. You know, I think he beat them on the back end of their career, but, you know, I feel like this supposed to be his coming out party against me, so I'm super excited.
I'm expecting the Errol Spence was fighting.
Yeah.
Kell Brook back in the days, you know, that type of fighter, but we shall see. You know, that's the questions for him to be in.
Errol Spence and Tim Tszyu finally came face to face, and the respect disappeared as soon as they started talking.
And trust me, the respect disappeared the second they started talking.
Yeah, I think he's like very monotone. But he's very good at that. Yeah. You know, and it drowns you.
Yeah.
He's got a very stiff jab, and the jab is very consistent. So I think that's probably going to be the hardest part. But yeah, this fight is going to be a relentless style for me. I'm looking to just bring the heat. Yeah. And let's see if he can match it.
Yeah. Man, I really don't care. I mean, I'm excited. I dream about stuff like this, man. You know, it kind of give me chills now, coming out and everybody booing. They give me more pumped up than anything. People booing, throwing stuff, you know, angry. That really takes the nervousness out of me. It's like, I'm not nervous anymore. Like, people booing and saying things and yelling and screaming. That's like the movies we used to watch as kids, old Spartan movies and stuff. Like, you going to war. So, you know, it gives me a high.
Tim Tszyu looked Spence in the eye and warned that his comeback would end in regret. He said Spence should have taken a tune-up fight instead of facing one of the most dangerous fighters at 154 pounds. Spence wasn't about to let that slide.
July 26th, you can expect all-out war. I think a one-sided fight. I think he's going to give it everything that he has, but I'm definitely going to put on a great show and show the fans of Australia, show the world that Errol the True Spence is back, and y'all will respect me after this fight.
In your mind, I know you said about breaking Errol, but in your mind, you must feel like this doesn't see 12 rounds on your side.
For sure. That's what I'm going for.
I was reading an interview done with Sporting News Australia, I think, and you said about beating him better than Crawford did. Is that also the mentality in your mind as well?
Well, that's his last hooray that he had, you know? I want him to come back to the memories and do it quicker than Crawford.
Spence fired back by predicting a knockout within 3 or 4 rounds. Despite being out since his loss to Terence Crawford in 2023, he believes he's still at the top. Rather than taking an easier fight, he chose one of the toughest challenges available.
No doubt. Bo Mac, I just want to ask you a couple things in boxing. How do you see the Errol Spence Tim Tszyu fight playing out, man?
Oh man, that's gonna be a great fight. If Errol gonna be himself, he should win. But we don't know what he got left.
Yeah.
So, but if Tim come in and be himself, he'll push Errol to the edge.
Do you think that's like a true 50-50 fight, like a crossroad fight for both those guys?
No, I don't think so. I think Errol probably will.
Think Errol?
Yeah, I think he probably will.
I say you still got the juice. He did 200,000-300,000 views in a week or whatever it's been, 2-3 weeks, and the episode is still climbing. But I'm seeing all the reaction, I'm seeing all the headlines, I'm seeing all the stuff. I say Errol, you still got the juice, because the boxing community, sports community, they leaning in saying, man, what is Errol Spence talking about, man? I want to lean in. and the takeaway was 90% solid, but we just wanted to address the 10%. We don't always like to address the 10%. We shouldn't address the 10%. Matter of fact, we should walk past the 10% most of the time, but every now and again, we got a little bit of time, and today, we had some time.
That decision shows Spence still believes he can return a championship form. Tszyu respects the challenge, but believes the timing favors him. With both fighters full of confidence, July 26 feels like much more than just another fight. It's a battle that could define both careers.
Some of the comments that are coming at Errol Spence, he says, still wishing Errol Spence the best in his upcoming fight. I see what y'all are trying to do. We a lot smarter than y'all realize. He said, but it's not going to work. Not this time. I appreciate that from Terence Crawford. And I called Errol and I said, Errol, I said, hey man, focus on the 90%, bro. Don't focus on them 10% because the 10% can seem very, very loud. I don't understand where they coming from. I said, but we, your peers and the people that get it, we respect you, bro, because that was the biggest moment of your professional boxing career that had been talked about for years. And it didn't go your way. That was a devastating loss, and you took that, you shouldered that like a man, and you never made one excuse. All we did was sit and talk about it and have a real conversation, and we invited the world in to our personal conversation. So Errol did nothing wrong. Errol didn't make any excuses. The guy he actually fought is saying the same.
The rivalry became even bigger when Terence Crawford joined the conversation. Without insulting anyone, Bud immediately backed Spence and confirmed he'll travel to Australia to support him, showing that friendship matters even in boxing rivalries.
Take it easy, big dog. You got anything in closing? Anything we didn't have?
Nah. Just I'm definitely a fan of boxing. You know, I'm gonna be in Australia. I'm gonna be.
I know you're gonna be over there. Yeah.
I'm gonna be supporting Spence, rooting him on.
Yeah.
You know, I just like to support, you know, fighters in his own right. I done been in Boots locker room supporting him. You know, so yeah, it's just crazy how the tables turn. You know, when people get to a certain plateau and they forget about things like that.
We picking Earl?
Of course.
Crawford said he's a boxing fan first and that supporting friends shouldn't create drama. He admitted he'll probably have to face Tszyu afterward, but brushed it off, saying that's simply part of boxing. He also praised respectful disagreements between fans.
I'm gonna have to look him in the eyes like, yo, I know you heard everything I said, so.
I told him to his face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's cool. It's cool to be, see, and this is what I don't understand why people take it so hurtful. When we in like England and places like that, or overseas, like they tell you, and it's okay, like, hey, you're a great fighter, but I think he's gonna win.
Yeah.
Afterwards, it's all cool. It's just a opinion that they have on one fight.
Crawford added that nobody truly knows what will happen until fight night, and believes people should accept being wrong if their prediction fails. His support for Spence, despite the long layoff, shows just how evenly matched this fight really is.
It's cool to have different opinions.
And for me, when it goes the other way, I say, hey, I wasn't in that man's camp. I don't know what he was up to. I wasn't with him the night before his fight. I don't know what he was up to.
That's an excuse. You make an excuse.
When he went in the ring and did something I didn't think he was gonna do, I ain't know.
No, you gotta just say I was wrong. Just say I was wrong. Congratulations.
Hey, be easy, bud. We'll see you next week.
For sure.
Brian Mendoza offered another perspective after sharing the ring with Spence in Sparring. He dismissed claims that Spence is returning only for money, saying he saw a focused fighter constantly improving and making adjustments every day in camp.
How does Errol Spence look today?
Errol Spence, for those that think that he's done, he's just showing up for a check. I've heard that a lot. A lot of people critiquing. He's not working like someone that's showing up for a check. The work ethic I got to see in the couple weeks I was there, and obviously just from literally being in the ring with him, sharing the ring, working with him, there was adjustments every day. He's not someone that's just showing up and clocking in and be like, all right, let's go through the motions and do the same thing. He was making adjustments. I was catching him with shots the first day we sparred. The second day we sparred, those shots were not landing. I had to figure something else out.
It's Errol Spence.
Exactly. Yeah. People forget, they know he's a pressure fighter. He likes to work the body. He tries to break you.
Mendoza reminded fans that before becoming a pressure fighter, Spence was an Olympic-level boxer with excellent technical skills. He also praised Spence's toughness after landing clean shots in sparring without breaking him down. In his view, Spence is rebuilding himself, not preparing for retirement.
The work ethic and, like I said, just the work that he's doing in the gym is not of someone that's clocking in, trying to show up for a check and trying to be like, oh, let's see what we can do. Like he's fully locked in. He cares about improving each and every day, and that's what I respected. And at the end of the day, I even told him, when I was leaving that, I appreciate him having me out. That it was just fun, being in that type of high-level chess match again, where I can't just, I'm not just using the same bag of tricks every day. I have to go home from the sparring and think about, okay, well, what am I going to do next time? You caught me with this. Those are signs of someone that is really thinking, still loves what they do. He has a passion for.
Greg Hackett shifted the discussion toward everything outside the ring, while defending both Spence and trainer Derek James. He argued that injuries before major fights make a coach's job much harder and that fans often overlook those realities.
At the same time, we want to get sharp and we want to step on the gas. We also got to hold back because he injured. We don't want him to be more injured by the time we get to the fight. So, I think it plays a part more on Errol than it did Derek James, because you already hurt. And on top of that, Derek James is not responsible for when you leave the gym. That's not his. Whatever you do outside the gym, that's not his fault. You know what I'm saying? When you was in that car and you banged out and all that, that's not his fault.
Hackett also stressed that success and failure are shared between a fighter and coach. He believes the gym should stay free from distractions and that championship habits come from discipline, trust, and accountability, not comfort.
That's what fighters is not understanding. These cameras and all that, bro. Boxing used to be a sacred thing. Now everybody think they can fight. Shut up. I hate that. So I'm backing Derek James 100%. You know what I mean? I with Errol Spence. I like Jamel Charlo. But, man, y'all was wrong, man. I'm calling it like it is. Y'all was wrong. Because the gym is something sacred, man. And it's a relationship between you and your trainer. And y'all got to be locked in, bro. Y'all got to be all the way together. To the point where he don't even got to say nothing. You look over at him, he give you a look. And you supposed to know what that look means. That's how you know you in sync. That's how you know you really tuned.
That's why this fight has everyone talking. Spence believes he's ready to prove he's still elite, while Tszyu is determined to stop his comeback before it begins. Now it's time to find out who wins. Share your prediction, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more boxing updates.